A very good morning, viewers. It's 6 a.m. and you're watching Republic TV. This is Quick Morning, your one-stop destination for all the top stories from across the length and breadth of the nation and also from across the entire world. We'll get you all the latest. Let's get started. Manipur's Kangpokpi district witnessed fresh unrest on Saturday as security forces fired tear gas to disperse protesters opposing Union Home Minister Amit Shah's directive for free movement across the state from March 8th and a peace march by a Meitei organization. Police said demonstrators clashed with the security personnel, pelted stones leading to injuries. Several workers are feared trapped after a portion of a factory in Ludhiana collapsed on Saturday. The incident took place in a focal point area. Eyewitnesses said the entire area was shaken by the collapse. There were no immediate details on the building and its occupants' rescue operation is currently underway.
ओनर ते सुपरवाइजर दे नाल इन्फॉर्मेशन दे नाल गल करके जिहड़ी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली है उस दे तहत अज जिहड़े सीगे 29 बंदे इत्थे जिहड़े सी काम ते आए सीगे ਜਦੋਂ फैक्ट्री कोलैप्स हुई ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਾਡੇ डिपार्टमेंट्स ने काफ़ी बंदे इवैक्यूएट ਕੀਤੇ ਤੇ ਐਜ਼ ਆਫ ਨਾਓ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ 6 ਬੰਦੇ ਟ੍ਰੈਪਡ ਹੈਗੇ ਅੰਦਰ.
National Conference Supremo Farooq Abdullah on Saturday reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir will get back its statehood and asserted that the Indian government must restore it as it had promised in the parliament. He also said that the centre is bound by the promise it made in the parliament to restore the statehood in Jammu and Kashmir.
State will happen. India government will have to give a state. They are bound by the promise they have made in the parliament when I was the member. They will have to uphold that promise.
A journalist was shot dead in broad daylight on National Highway 30. The journalist, identified as Raghavendra Pachpai, was on his way home when his bike was hit by a vehicle and he was shot dead by unknown assailants. The incident occurred in the Emilia Sultanpur police station area of Uttar Pradesh's Sitapur district. A heavy police deployment, including circle officer and additional superintendent of police, reached the spot. The victim was declared dead after he was taken to the hospital with bullet wounds in his chest and shoulder.
दोपहर बाद लगभग 3:15 बजे के आसपास यह सूचना प्राप्त हुई कि नेशनल हाईवे पर जो सीतापुर की साइट है हेमपुर ओवरब्रिज के ऊपर एक आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट और दैनिक जागरण के स्थानीय पत्रकार राघवेंद्र वाजपेयी उम्र लगभग 35 वर्ष की डेथ हो गई है। इस सूचना पर तत्काल थाना पुलिस पहुंची, अस्पताल भेजा गया। परिवारजनों से वार्ता की जा रही है, इनसे तहरीर लेकर सुसंगत धाराओं में अभियोग पंजीकृत किया जा रहा है।
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has emphasized that historical figures like Maharana Pratap and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj remain unmatched in their heroism. He asserted that rulers such as Akbar and Aurangzeb cannot be revered in the same light. This statement comes amid growing political discourse over historical narratives.
राष्ट्र नायक की श्रेणी में भारत माता के वही सपूत हैं जिनका पूरा जीवन भारत माता के लिए समर्पित था। स्वदेश और स्वधर्म के लिए जिन्होंने अपना जीवन समर्पित किया, जिन्होंने घास की रोटी खानी मंजूर की, लेकिन विधर्मियों के सामने झुकना कभी मंजूर नहीं किया। उन राष्ट्र नायकों में महाराणा प्रताप का नाम आता है।
With that, viewers, it's time for us to take a quick look at the top stories that are making the headlines in the world of business. India stands at a very crucial juncture in artificial intelligence development. The country risks losing up to $15 trillion over the next 25 years if it fails to build its own AI ecosystem. This was highlighted in a recent discussion during the Republic Plenary Summit 2025. While India has made significant progress, experts emphasize on the need for deep fundamental research and also risk capital to support long-term AI innovation. Indian government is actively investing in foundational artificial intelligence models. India has the potential to create a new model where autonomous machines collaborate with autonomous human beings. Ola CEO Bhavish Agarwal has met with Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav on Saturday. They discussed India's future roadmap for AI technology, the current progress of Koutruk AI platform and other developments in the field of AI. During their discussion, Agarwal also presented his vision for Koutruk 3, which aims to make India's leading AI model. Unlike simply following the global trends, the focus will be on creating a model tailored to meet India's unique demands and needs. The conversation with the Railway Minister was described as invaluable by Agarwal, who gained insights into the government's vision regarding artificial intelligence. In a landmark decision, billionaire industrialist Shiv Nadar has officially transferred 47% of his shareholding in HCL Corporation and Vama Sundari Investments Private Limited to his daughter Roshni Nadar Malhotra. Before this development, Shiv Nadar, the visionary founder of HCL, held 51% of the shares, while Roshni Nadar Malhotra held 10.33% in both Vama Delhi and HCL Corporation. The low-cost airline SpiceJet is facing new insolvency proceedings after 3 aircraft lessors based in Ireland and a former pilot filed pleas with the National Company Law Tribunal, or the NCLT, alleging defaults. The lessors, NGF Alpha, NGF Genesis and NGF Charlie, claimed dues amounting to $12.68 million and have sought action under Section 9 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. The lessors, who had earlier leased 5 Boeing 737 aircraft to SpiceJet, allege misuse of these leased planes, including theft of parts like engines, which were reportedly used in other planes. Following criticisms over alleged ill treatment of an elderly lady passenger, Air India has defended its action. It has said that Air India had been what it claims courteous with the passenger and her family. Air India is facing criticism after an 82-year-old widow of an army veteran suffered grievous injuries at Delhi airport due to the airline's negligence. As she was denied a wheelchair, she had to walk across 3 parking lots, and when she arrived at the Air India counter, she collapsed. Air India categorically denied claims that the passenger had waited for an hour for the wheelchair, calling these allegations baseless and blaming the victim instead. From protests in Kyiv to the tariff war that Donald Trump has waged against the entire world, here are the top international stories that you need to watch out for. Dozens of people held a protest near the US Embassy in Kyiv. They were protesting over US President Donald Trump's decision to pause military aid and intelligence sharing to Ukraine. President Donald Trump on Monday directed a pause to US assistance to Ukraine as he seeks to pressure Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to engage in negotiations to end the war with Russia. Marking International Women's Day, female students led street protests against corruption in Serbian capital Belgrade on Saturday. They were demonstrating against widespread violence targeting women in the Balkan nation. University students in Serbia are also leading almost daily protests as part of a nationwide anti-graft movement that started after a concrete canopy crashed down last November at a railway station in the northern city of Novi Sad. The Philippines and UK signed a joint framework agreement to enhance cooperation across multiple areas, including defense, regional security and climate action, paving the way for deeper collaboration. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy is on a visit to the Philippines. He said that the two nations are committed to rule-based international order, and the visit comes amid simmering tensions between Philippines and China over South China Sea territorial dispute.
We are countries that are committed to international law. We are countries that are committed to the rules-based order. We are countries that take our obligations under the UN Charter seriously. And that is why we have stood together in supporting Ukraine and supporting a free and open Indo-Pacific, understanding that the Euro-Atlantic arena and the Indo-Pacific arena are indivisible.
Heavy security was deployed on Saturday in Syrian coastal towns after 2 days of clashes between Syrian security forces and gunmen loyal to former President Bashar Assad. The death toll of 2 days of clashes between security forces and the loyalists of Assad and revenge killings that followed has risen to more than 600. Interim President Ahmad al-Shara, in a video statement on Friday, called on armed groups affiliated with the former government to hand over their weapons. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the conflicting armed groups of Syria to end hostilities and protect civilians. His spokesperson said that the Secretary General condemns violence in Syria. Ongoing clashes between the pro and anti-government factions have marked the worst violence since President Bashar al-Assad's government was toppled in early December last year by insurgent groups led by the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham.
I can tell you the Secretary General is concerned about the recent clashes on the coastal city of Syria, including reports of extrajudicial killings and civilian casualties. The Secretary General strongly condemns all violence in Syria and calls on the parties to protect civilians and cease hostilities. The Secretary General is alarmed by the risk of escalating tensions among communities in Syria at a time where reconciliation and peaceful political transition should be the priority. After 14 years of conflict, Syrians deserve sustainable peace, prosperity, and justice.
Hundreds of people rallied in Indianapolis on Friday to protest President Donald Trump's policy of cutting federal grants that fund research. The crowd was made up mostly of researchers, university professors, and students from various academic institutions across the state of Indianapolis. Research grants across the U.S. have been frozen or cut, and scholarships funded by the federal government have been halted. Trump administration's federal congressional budget is also proposing billions of dollars in cuts in federal funding for research and institutions across higher education.
One of the things that drew me to science is that it is one of the most potent systems and mechanisms that humans have ever devised to seek truth and to get to objective truth. This is why scientists are always, and scholars of all stripes, are always targeted by authoritarian regimes, because we speak truth.
Panama announced that it will allow 112 migrants deported from the U.S. to move about the country freely until they decide on the next course of action. Panama Security Minister Frank Abrego said that the migrants would be granted temporary humanitarian passes as documents. Panama has come under severe pressure from human rights groups for holding the migrants without their passports or cell phones in harsh conditions. Council tasked to prepare eventual presidential elections in Haiti swore in a new leader as the country keeps struggling with persistent gang violence. Fritz Alphonse, an economist and former central bank governor, replaces Leslie Voltaire in the rotating presidency of the Transitional Presidential Council. During a ceremony in Port-au-Prince, Haiti's new president described what Haiti is currently facing as war and asking people to be united to address the security crisis. Clashes between armed groups and the police have grown in recent years in Haiti as the government has struggled to control many areas of the capital and beyond. Welcome back, viewers. Is Rohit Sharma retiring? What's the status of India's lineup? Who's in and who's out? We'll get you all that and more in this segment as we bring you the top stories from the world of sports. India Vice Captain Shubman Gill said there has not been any discussion around the possible retirement of skipper Rohit Sharma as the team is completely focused on winning the Champions Trophy. India will face New Zealand in the final of the ICC marquee event in Dubai. Indian batting icon and chase master Virat Kohli is all set to feature in his third straight Champions Trophy final as the men in blue gear up for their showdown against New Zealand. Kohli guided India to a comfortable victory over nemesis Australia in the semi-final as he played a crucial and a masterful knock of 84 to hunt down 265 set by Aussies. The Indian star is now eyeing a major record. Kohli needs 46 more runs to break Chris Gale's record for the most runs scored in Champions Trophy history. The Indian maestro sits in the second place with 746 runs to his name, with Gale on top with his tally reading 791. Former England cricketers Nasir Hussain, Michael Atherton and David Lloyd complained of India having an unfair advantage in the ongoing Champions Trophy. The discussions emerged after the men in blue qualified for the semi-final, and unlike other teams, they didn't have to travel to any other city. India batting coach Sitanshu Koutruk has dismissed all these allegations, stating that the team is honouring the schedule which was made by the ICC. He also added that the players practice on different wickets, which is not the same as the ones that played so far. He also mentioned that nothing extra was handed to Team India and reminded that the schedule was released way in advance as far as the time is concerned. India start the Champions Trophy 2025 final as favourites, but if there is a team that can beat them, it is New Zealand. Former head coach Ravi Shastri has opined that India defeated New Zealand in their group stage match after Varun Chakravarti starred in the 249-run defence with a 5-wicket haul. Ahead of the final, Shastri opined that India are favourites, but only just. If there's one team that can beat India, it is the Black Caps. The Champions Trophy 2025 is a little over just a sleep away as India and New Zealand are gearing up for the summit clash at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. Meanwhile, as per reports, the final between the two teams will be played on a surface that was used for the game between India and Pakistan in Dubai. The pitch is expected to play slow, with spinners likely to extract help from it, as seen in the previous matches at this very venue. Kolkata Knight Riders announced the experienced West Indian Otis Gibson as their assistant head coach ahead of the IPL season starting on March 22nd. A former fast bowler from Barbados himself, with over 650 first-class wickets to his name, the 55-year-old represented West Indies in both Tests and ODIs from 1995 to 1999 before embarking on his journey as a coach. With the new season of the IPL 2025 approaching, 10 franchisees will hope for a good performance in the upcoming season. Ahead of the new season, 5-time IPL champions Mumbai Indians came forward and announced South African bowling all-rounder Corbin Bosch as a replacement for the injured Zah Williams. It is worth noting that Williams will miss the upcoming IPL 2025 due to a knee injury. Moving on, viewers, it's time for us to tell you what's happening in the world of entertainment. Bollywood stars including Abhishek Banerjee, Nimrat Kaur, Vijay Verma and Guneet Monga hit the green carpet for the International Indian Film Academy Digital Awards in Jaipur. The event honors the best in digital content across various categories, including Best Film, Best Series, Best Performance in a Leading Role, Male and Female, Best Director, and many others. Performance was star-studded, and the performers at the Bollywood event included actress Nora Fatehi and singers Mika Singh, Shreya Ghoshal, and musical duo Sachin Jigar.
The challenge has been to survive in the city. I think I always knew that I want to be an actor. I'm going to be an actor one day. But yeah, casting became like bread and butter for me. And now acting is more tough because you realize that it's not only about on screen. You have to do so many things off screen. So yeah, I'm just taking the challenge.
Sterling K. Brown joined his Paradise castmates Friday night for a special premiere screening of Hulu original series in North Hollywood. The Emmy-winning actor says he is able to get into the character's no-frills mindset via his drive to take out his co-star Julianne Nicholson's character Sinatra. Paradise is available to stream on Hulu and also stars Nicole Bridden, Bloom, Chris Marshall and Sarah Shahi are part of it.
I mean, when you're in that sort of mindset, the mindset is I'm him. You know what I mean? Like that's the mindset, especially any sort of confrontations you have with Sinatra. You feel like I'm him, like, cause I need to shoot this woman. She's effing up my whole life. She done took out my best friend. She done took out the president, and I'm tired of her messing up my life. Then she took my daughter too at the end. I'm like, no. Anytime you see me with Sinatra or whatnot, I'm like, oh, I want to shoot you so bad.
Grammy-winning American singer Chappell Roan was among the attendees at the Ludovic D. Saint Fall-Winter 2025-2026 fashion show in Paris. Crossing gender conventions, the collection featured figure-hugging tailoring, midriff-bearing ensembles, latex studs and snake print. Ludovic D. Saint Cerny's show tells the story of a high-powered professional navigating the boundary between control and indulgence. Riccardo Scofidio, an architect who transformed an abandoned railway into New York's popular Highland Park, breathed his last in New York at the age of 89. He worked on museums, college buildings, and other projects around the world. Named as Time magazine's 100 most influential people in 2009, Scofidio strove to make space on his own terms, but he is perhaps best known for leading the design of the High Line, the park in a former elevated cargo rail track on Manhattan's far west side. Last month, Scofidio was elected into the American Academy of Arts and Letters, a prestigious honor society for luminaries in architecture, art, literature, and music. Actor Sterling Brown has praised American screenwriter and director Don Fogelman, saying that he can write anything. Sterling K. Brown is having a reunion with series creator Dan Fogelman as the duo reteams for Hulu's upcoming series entitled Paradise City. Well, viewers, that's all we could pack for you in today's edition of Quick Morning. But stay tuned to Republic TV for all the latest on the other side.